I was taking a walk the other day, and of course, legally walking. I'm not one of these psychos who go without a license. I'm officially licensed to walk. Okay, and not to brag or anything, but finally acquired my walking license. And as I was walking, I saw this guy on a motorcycle. Uber Eats guy. Delivering things. And this guy, I don't know, man, he kind of looks like he doesn't deliver the food. Maybe he doesn't know he must deliver the food, He looks like he got the job. He's like, oh man, this job is awesome. All I need to do is go fetch food, eat the food, and then get paid for it, And, I'm like, I looked at him, I was like, yeah, that's, and he really did look, he looks like he's been at it for, years. Like he's been a years-long Uber Eats driver who doesn't deliver the food. It never reaches the customer. It's just like, oh wow, free food. And I really feel I don't feel bad for him. And please don't feel bad for him. He chose his lifestyle. Okay. I really feel bad for that motorbike though, because that's it's just a small little motorbike, and that thing was screaming like ah. Anyways, let's start the show. Hello and welcome back to the show. We are all over the place once again with your host Xavier, and it really is Xavier, right? People say all kinds of things for your name, I remember speaking to this one guy not long ago. Really, I introduced myself as Xavier, and he's like, "Oh, really? That's your name?" And I was like, yes, that is my name. And then he's like, oh, and how do you spell it? He looked very douchey, like very matter-of-factly, as if he knows better. Anyways, and don't you just love those kinds of people? Really the best humans come out like that. Anyways, and he was like, how do you spell it? And then I was like, Xavier. Oh, so it's actually Xavier. And I was like, no, it's Xavier. Oh, but wouldn't it have an E in the front if it were Xavier? And then I was like, no, it wouldn't. This is my name. What are we doing here? Are we debating on how my name works now? So some people are just ridiculous. Oh my goodness, Some people are, it's almost like they are engaging with humanity in a intellectual battle, but if it were truly intelligent, then you wouldn't bother. If you were truly being an intellectual person, full well, because of discernment, which is what sets us apart from the animals, really. We have the ability to judge whether something is relevant and important or not, and now you're going to debate someone on their own name. That makes you really likable. Some people, oh my word, some people are the worst. Anyways, so yeah, where was I going with this? Oh, I was still welcoming you to the show. Welcome. Please do sit back and relax and enjoy. I don't know how much you can relax in a roller coaster, but I certainly can't. And but yeah, anyways, thank you for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Every little bit helps. Every minute, every second that you watch this show helps me. So I really appreciate you, and I'm really trying to give my best. Just give more of myself. I think, if there are people in my life, which they are, that appreciate and enjoy my company, hopefully you can as well, So yeah, welcome to the show. Please do subscribe. We're also on Spotify if you're not in the mood to just watch a YouTube video the whole time, or if you want to, have it in your ears while you're walking around, or while you're doing the dishes, or sitting on the toilet. We know that's serious business, Or you're driving, you're going to go fetch the maid at her house and bring her back so that she can clean your house or whatever. I don't know what your life is about, okay? I don't know what your life is. But whatever it is that you're going to do, you can also listen to me on Spotify. So that's quite a fun thing. And you know, when it comes to podcasts on Spotify, even if you're using the free version, you are not you can pick exactly the episode that you like to listen to. So yeah, please go and watch that. Yeah, everybody, thank you once again for watching, and I just think it's incredible, the support. I keep saying this, but the support that I've been experiencing has been so overwhelming and so wonderful, and I really just think that I'm so grateful for that, and you know what, I think that is what makes life good. It's really truly a subjective experience. So whatever's happening in your life, you decide really how you want it to be, just based on the perspective you choose, based on the things you decide to value, And I think for me, like what's I would say my circumstances hasn't necessarily changed, by any stretch of the imagination, but I think my attitude has just changed a little bit towards life. And not a little bit, by a lot actually. So I apologize for all the background noise. I'm actually at home. This is my bedroom, and outside of this bedroom are just normal goings on. Somebody boiled the kettle earlier, so it made that whistling sound. That was a poor whistle, but okay, I don't care. If you're a professional whistler, maybe you can give me some lessons. Anyways, and right now my brother he's playing the piano and singing, so that's what you hear in the background. It's almost like I can give some kind of encouraging speech about, you being able to, make it to the toilet before you soil your pants or something, You can do it, go quickly, with that music in the background. You can do it, go, you've got this, just hold on, and when you get there, make like Elsa, and let it go. Imagine. But anyways, where are we going with this? I don't even know, And that's the fun part about it, it's just freedom. Honestly, if you're the type of person that enjoys the show, then you're also somebody like me who just goes with it. Obviously, when it comes to serious stuff in life, you want to have a plan and a purpose and a goal, but with everything else, man, we just take it easy, honestly. But I was saying this about life, is that I've been feeling so grateful lately for everything that I have in my life. And part of it is being witness to horrible things that happen to other people, And it's not like you say, ha, thank God that's not me, It's not like that. But in a sense, it's a more positive version of that, to say, wow, other people have it really rough out there, and they can still find a reason to smile. So why do I think my life is so bad, And I think that happens with a lot of us, actually. Like we don't realize how good we have it until you are confronted with somebody else's circumstances or life that's really difficult or rough or whatever, And I just think, like, the more gratitude you can express, and you don't have to express gratitude to the world, just within yourself. Just the ability to recognize that there are things in this world that you are so grateful that it's there, It's like, it just changes your whole day. If you wake up and this is maybe the best advice I've ever seen, Just, looking online, like how to be okay, regardless of the circumstances of life. It's just, when you wake up, try and list as many things as you can that you are grateful for. And when you really take that activity seriously, you'll realize that there's an endless list of things that you are grateful for, And it's part of it is comparing your life with other people's lives, which is not fair, to be honest. Everybody has a different story. I think comparing your life to somebody else's life is, it's really foolish to do that, because you cannot measure up to anybody else's life. Their life cannot measure up to your life. They have had a different set of experiences, a different starting point than you, and maybe they are at chapter 31 and you're at chapter 2 of your adventure. It's like, no. And I love that analogy, by the way, in chapters, because I'm really trying to bring awareness to books, and more of that later actually, because every episode I try and do a nice little book review with the assistance of ChatGPT, just to condense some of the thoughts that I have regarding books that I've read, that it can take my words and just make it a bit nicer because I'm not a literature expert. I'm not schooled in the art of reviewing a work of literature or breaking down a work of literature. I just have the very, the ordinary person's, and well, I'm not ordinary by any stretch, but anyways, I just the consumer's perspective of enjoying a work of literature, and just try and write notes every time, But anyways, we'll get to that later. I have been not noticing, but it's something that I've always wondered about. Why are there people who have themselves on their wallpaper, dude? Like, what are we doing here? What is that all about? And I'm never I'm never nosy enough to ask, because maybe it's something. I don't want to make someone feel uncomfortable by a decision that they've taken, because it takes a decision, right? You decide, okay, I'm going to take a really nice picture of myself, and you're like, oh, you know what, this particular picture, I want this picture to be the picture I see when I unlock my phone. I can't relate to that at all. I don't want to see my face. Jeez, man. And to be honest, I also for me, when it comes to wallpapers, I'm not into it at all. I change it all the time, actually. That's why I just choose whatever is on the system's thing. I just choose that, because I'm actually, I may be a 27-year-old young man, but deep down inside, I'm actually 57 years old. And I truly am. It feels so interesting. I go sleep early, I wake up early. I don't like to go out. Oh, it's too loud, there's too many people. I feel really old when I have such thoughts. And even with the wallpaper, at least I don't. I don't know if you've seen why do old people, and the thing is, even old people have themselves as wallpapers, some of them, and I see the picture itself, it's almost like they took that selfie this angle. This angle is nose first, when you see that picture, and then even on Facebook, and that's really the realm of old people. They're on Facebook, that's where you find them. A lot of them don't say Facebook, it's almost Facebook. Oh, it's on Facebook. Anyway, so that picture is nose first, glasses. It has to be glasses, and almost like it was taken from the stomach perspective. And it's are you gonna have no regard for an angle, a flattering angle? You're just gonna be oh, that's a good picture, I don't understand it. Some people are, not even some people, man. It's so many. I can't even say some. I think based on what I've seen so far, because sometimes when you talk to people, they have their phone in their hands. Sometimes they're gonna go look for something on their phone just to reference part of a conversation, or take your number, or just confirm your email, whatever. And then you see a picture of themselves, and it's this. I can't. It's too much for me, man. There's just an endless fascination that I have for human beings, because each one is its own universe, and such a depth of character and personality that would take a lifetime to understand, And I guess that's also the beautiful thing about marriage, right? It's or even just any long-term relationship, friendship, family, whatever. It's okay, not always family, but you choose this person because you're you know what? This person is the person that I find worthwhile to learn about all the way to the end of life, And I love that. I love that it's so beautiful. And we're designed for it. We're hardwired to think that way. That's us as the human animal, There's a lot of things they like to base the idea or the expected behavior of human beings. They like to base that on primates, because those are our closest relatives, scientifically speaking, DNA-wise, anatomically, physiologically, but not, mentally. Well, even that, there's some similarities, And also, you can't deny the fact that some people just act like animals, and those specific animals, But anyways, so we compared a lot to them. They're calling them our distant cousins. And, some of my cousins look like apes. Anyways, so it's like they compare human beings to primates because they are our, as they say, our closest relatives. Sorry, I just had to move there a little bit. They are our closest relatives, biologically speaking. And so primates have, very complicated social systems, and they compare that to us as human beings as well. Like the idea of being polygamous, or the idea of one man being the alpha, and he gets the privilege of mating with all the females, and only his progeny gets to be what? Yeah, he gets to be the only progenitor, or the main progenitor of the family, of the group. And then we have human beings, and human beings are different in many ways. Like maybe you think, okay, a lot of men are polygamous or what is it? What am I looking for? Promiscuous, and most ladies, or not most ladies, but a lot of ladies are also promiscuous. But I think deep down in our core, we're hardwired for a long-term relationship with one person, and I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful because there's so many challenges involved. You're spending your life with someone who might be very much different from you. Yes, sure, you have overlaps, and that's the basis of your relationship. And hopefully in your case, you're not with somebody that you only have one thing in common with, because you're like, I saw a joke the other day. I'm a huge fan of stand-up comedy, comedy in general, actually. I love everything that makes a person laugh, and I find it fascinating, the phenomenon of something happening and that sparks laughter. Laughter is this involuntary response to external input, and I find it fascinating. But anyways, so this comedian, he's like, if you see, like, he talks about people that have one thing in common in relationships, and he said, you see that couple that goes to the gym, and that's really all that they have is exercise. That's the only thing that they have in common. That's their one common interest. So they just look like, when they go to the gym, they have like these bags, and they just walking to the gym together. Come, babe, let's go to the gym, And they just look like a couple of apes on the way to the gym. Oh man, he tells the joke much better. I refuse to tell other people's jokes, man. That would be plagiarism of the highest order, because comedy is such a sophisticated art, and maybe not even, it's even a simple art, but not everybody is able to make people laugh, and therefore I'm not going to rip off other people's jokes. But anyways, so what was I saying now? So yeah, the overlaps is just what you have when you're in a relationship. That's the stuff that you have in common, but everything else, you guys are completely different people, and that's why, you need to argue, you need to disagree, because it's like, there's clearly a difference here that we have. We need to communicate enough, even in the form of conflict, that would eventually create understanding between the two of us, so that our relationship, our bond can grow further, And I just find that a beautiful thing. How did I get here? I'm not clear. Where did I start with this? Oh yes, people taking pictures of themselves. I really don't know how it ended up there, but I know that's where I kind of started. Anyways, I don't know why this happens, but it's okay. You're along for the ride. So thank you that you're still here. I hope you're buckled. Anyways, so yeah, I just find it so crazy, man. Like why would you have And the thing is, like, I think, okay, I've been thinking about this a lot, you know, because I really take these totally irrelevant matters, and I try to devote a lot of time and attention to it, because that's just the kind of person that I am. But anyway, so I thought, okay, either there might be different reasons for different people, right? And the one that first came up to me was narcissism. You know, just a little hint of narcissism. It's like, I would love to see my beautiful face when I open my phone. I'd love to see a picture of myself when I open my phone, and that satisfies me, you know, just from that perspective. But it doesn't like really explain everything, and I do believe that there's never one explanation for any one thing when it comes to human beings. You know, human beings are just way too complex to be explained away by one explanation, you know. So okay, that's possibly the one. And but obviously there has to be other factors that points towards narcissistic behavior. When you look at certain people, you know, these are people that are obsessed with their appearance. These are people who have no or very little compassion for others, who do not have the ability to even try, or the desire to try and see how things might go for somebody else, you know. Just all about me, all about the attention on me, all about I need to look my best, what will people think, what will people say, you know. Those are narcissistic people. You know, and that's, you see it a lot on social media actually, and there's a for me a growing concern actually, because social media actually rewards narcissistic behavior if you think about it, you know. Like if somebody posts a statement or like a very nice picture of themselves with a statement of, you know, queen and power to woman, or you know, like just something bombastic about themselves, like, you know, like I don't take anyone's nonsense, or, you know, I am the most beautiful, you know, like, and then it's encouraged, like, then the comments are like, well done, or wow, it's wonderful, you know, just all positive reinforcement, and that's dangerous. I think that's dangerous. The last thing you want to encourage is narcissistic behavior, you know. But then you might say, and this is the other side of it, when it comes to like having yourself as your wallpaper, it's like maybe it's just a expression of self-love, you know. However, you know, and it does make a little bit of sense, like if you maybe you have some self-esteem issues and you're trying to rectify that. Maybe if you feel a bit insecure about yourself, and the challenge is then take a picture of yourself that you might be happy with, and you can have a look at that nice picture whenever you open your phone, which is probably 200 times a day, and then you feel good seeing yourself. But you see, that still, for me, points to narcissistic behavior, man. I don't know. It's very complicated. It's extremely complicated. I just realized I have headphones on. The plan was not to have the headphones. I was gonna take the headphones off, but I suppose it's good so that I can just, you know, regulate the noise levels or the volume levels. But I'm sitting very uncomfortably. Jeez, I can't wait to just have a better setup, and also to have maybe in a studio setting, because like the background noises are kind of distracting. But anyways, let's just get to the bottom of this, because I really have been obsessing over it, and I'm trying to figure it out, and I think talking is for me the best way to think, you know, because then I can hear myself, I can hear that doesn't sound right, this sounds right, you know. But anyways, so back to the point of maybe insecurity. But the thing is, a lot about insecurity actually has almost a narcissistic element to it, you know. Like this desire to be perfect and then be unhappy when you're not perfect. It's like, you know, what makes you so special that you have to be perfect? You don't have to be perfect, man. You don't have to be perfect. And I think it's like, are you really that entitled to perfection that it ruins your experience, your human experience, that what you see does not match the vision of you? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyways, I think if you have a different take on it, if you have something to add on that, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I think I'm not going to do the hotline thing anymore. There was a hotline before. Not a lot of traction was gained on that, which is fine, which is okay. I think maybe I'll reintroduce the hotline once there are more listeners and viewers and all that. But anyways, as I was saying, I think that, if you have something to add on that or a counterpoint to that, I'm very much interested to hear about this, because, if you're like me and like to seriously consider irrelevant matters, then let's do it. Let's have a discourse, man. I love discourse. I love debate. I love, not necessarily combative or argumentative interactions, but I like being pushed to the limit of my thinking. And, to talk about it is one part of it, but then also to hear a alternative viewpoint or to have your viewpoint criticized on legitimate points is like, it's a challenge to improve your argument. And that exercise for me, I find it quite interesting, But anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, okay, so let's see, can it be about insecurity and security, But I guess it also depends on your level of insecurity, like how insecure are you? Because a lot of the times, confidence, or rather in this case, overconfidence, is actually a symptom of insecurity. And sure, we all have things we're insecure about. I think you are a psycho if you are not insecure about anything, Although, I think it's more beneficial to probably be insecure about as little things as possible. It's like, choose what your insecurities are, and you can do that. I don't know, is this thing positioned correctly? It's kind of, okay, let's just tighten that up. Tight. Anyways, is it moving? Okay, anyway. Just a little mic adjustment there. But yeah, I can't seem to grasp it, But that's just me, I guess I also need to consider that other people have reasons as to why they might want themselves as their wallpaper, But I'm guilty of this. I dismiss a lot of stuff as a single explanation, like whatever, like an opinion that I have about social media in general and why people are so, because social media has many uses, many advantages, right? But most people are just like, hey, here's a picture of me. Hey, here's another picture of me. Hey, look, I ate this. Look, I also ate this. And this photo was taken before I ate it. And look, this is the person I'm eating with. And hey, this is what I'm wearing today. And then the next guy goes, guys, look, this is something else that I wore. Society's doomed. Anyways, I just think like, what is the point, And then like on that, I just feel, okay, maybe it's part of the mating ritual, I guess. There's a lot of people who struggle to interact with human beings in a mature enough way to be able to discover common traits, common experiences that connect them in the form of a romantic relationship or a platonic relationship, like a friendship, And I think people struggle with that. I've noticed for a long time, and I was always concerned about this, speaking to people younger than me, they find it easier to communicate with someone of the opposite gender, or even the same gender, whatever you're into. I don't care. But to communicate with someone that you're romantically interested in, your first and possibly your most of your interactions with that person takes place online, and then you're more comfortable speaking to someone via text or via whatever messaging platform you use than to actually communicate in person. In person, you're all awkward and uncomfortable, and you have nothing to say, nothing comes to mind. That's weird. Isn't that weird? If you think that's weird, just tell me. Yeah, it's weird, in the comments. Imagine seeing a bunch of comments. It's weird, it's weird, it's weird. That would be so cool. But anyways, because then YouTube will be like, what is going on in this guy's channel? Anyway, I just find it very strange that. But anyways, it's part of the mating ritual now, is presenting yourself as attractive as possible, in as often as possible, as widespread as possible. So what you do is you post on every single platform, a video, just a video of you zooming in and out of your face, like 10,000 likes. What? Again, I say society is doomed, man. Society is absolutely doomed. If this is how people are, if this is how people, behave, then where are we gonna go with this? Like, I think we should be encouraging the spirit of innovation, but responsible innovation, But anyways, let's just rewind a bit. And then we go to, what was I still talking about? Oh, yeah. So, yes, I dismiss things a lot. I'm quite guilty of that without really giving more thought to certain things, and I'm trying to change that. So that's why I'm also exploring the idea of not just people with themselves as wallpapers, which deep down I think is genuinely insane. But okay, that's just me, But then again, maybe we're all insane. Maybe the world has just driven us to the point where we all have lost our minds and we all don't realize it. And the only people that we consider truly insane is the ones who are maybe just too far gone. Maybe that's what it is, Because, and maybe it's like technology, the buzz and the hum of technology is just what's driving that away, all the time. And I just think, like, we need to, sorry, I'm just having a look here to see how far we are into our episode. Alright, great. We're about half an hour in, halfway in. Anyways, so, like, I just find it so, like, yeah, I find it difficult not to dismiss certain things that I don't agree with, and I'm trying to rectify that. Like I said, I'm very interested in engaging in discourse and debating, and kind of debating with myself on certain points. And it'll be fun to have a guest, because then you can really have that kind of discourse, differences of opinion, and try and see where the middle ground is, and see where we agree, see where we disagree, and be mature enough to accept that you don't agree with me and I don't agree with you. I think that's a beautiful thing, and that's life. We don't have to go into fight or flight just because we disagree. A bit of a weakness in most people, I think, and myself included. And I'm trying to rectify that. My journey through life is centered around improvement, and I think that stems just from me being a musician. I've tried my best to constantly be improving my ability to play a musical instrument, or even increase the number of musical instruments that I can play proficiently. And so, with that philosophy in mind, I can transfer that over to the rest of my life. Is like, how can I better do things? How can I better experience life? How can I better interact with people? How can I better understand people? How can I better navigate this complicated world that we live in? Because it is complicated, And life, a lot of the times we think life is difficult. It's not difficult, it's just complicated. And if you figure it out, or if you try to figure it out, I don't think you can ever have life completely figured out. But the attempt to do so will result in more understanding. And more understanding means that your ability to navigate life will be easier. Life doesn't get easier, but your ability to navigate life improves, and that's what makes it easier, I think. And it's always temporary, right? As soon as you get a handle on things, then another stone gets thrown in the pond, and then there's more waves now, and you have to sort of navigate these new waters, and that's just life. But I want to navigate life successfully, man. My ideal success, and hopefully you can take something from this, but my ideal success is not, super rich, big house, big car. Like, that's financial success, to be honest. And financial success does not necessarily equate success in general. Success in general, what success is that you set out to do something and you actually do it. That is, for me, the simplest definition of success. But it always has to have some kind of improved state. So it has to be from this position to a higher or better position. That is what I believe success is. You don't succeed if you aim to fail and then you do fail and then that's success. Like, there's no dopamine drop at all for that, and it's built. Success is literally built into our bodies because we literally are rewarded chemically when we achieve some level of success or some kind of achievement. You win a rugby game, or you win the lotto, or you land that promotion, or you finally got a job, and I say finally because we live in South Africa, man. If you're not from South Africa, just know that things are really tough out here, especially for young people who are trying to make a life for themselves, who are in possession of, who are in possession of certain qualifications that are struggling to find work. It just isn't work. It's really the worst, But I think that you should not accept your circumstances, man. You should not accept your circumstances. I think, don't just be like, oh, there's no jobs. Oh, I'm just gonna not do anything. No. Figure it out. Okay. Life is difficult. You're not going to get the same experience as everyone else. You're not going to get the same privilege as anybody else. You're not going to get the same opportunities as everybody else. Sometimes you fall in hard times. You just have to figure it out, man. Stop complaining. I feel like I'm ranting. Stop complaining, but I'm going to carry on. Stop complaining that things are so difficult without you doing anything. Jeez, it's difficult. Yes, that's your impetus. Now, how am I going to navigate these difficult waters now? I need to learn how to sail. I need to learn how to fly. If I need to do that, then I need to do that. If I need to learn how to swim in lava, hell, I'm going to have to just do it. So it's like, don't accept it. Don't just be like, oh, that's it. I'm done. It's over for me. No, it isn't, dude. You have to figure it out. And it's really all about mindset. And that's really the beginning of success, I think. And I'm not necessarily successful by my own definition. I'm not necessarily successful. I have achieved small successes that I celebrate personally. Starting a podcast, for example, something I've always wanted to do, something I've always spoken about, and boom, now I've done it. Success. Now the next step is to take that success further, to be like, okay, now you succeeded in starting a podcast, Xavier. Now you need to have a successful podcast. You need to have one in which many people are listening, one that YouTube can reward you financially for doing this, just based on the eyeballs that you bring to the platform. That's the next goal. And however long it takes, I will achieve that as well. I believe that. But if I don't believe it, then I have the mindset that is going to help me fail. Because confidence can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. I truly believe this. That's why you get the term fake it till you make it, right? Because sometimes you just need to go on and get it done and just do it, whether or not there are doubts. And even if there are doubts, ignore those doubts and just carry on. Especially if there's nothing else. I understand if you have if you're sitting at a crossroads and here's one opportunity that does this and this and this, and here's another opportunity that takes me here and here and here, right? That's different. If you have doubts about one or the other, then probably go for the one that has less doubts, But if you have one option, if there's one opportunity and you have doubts, what are you doubting exactly? Are you sure that's not just fear or insecurity, Go into it confidently. That's what I've always done. Well, not always, but I've always tried to do that. It's like, okay, I don't know what to do here, but hell, let's figure it out. And in that way, you find your feet. In that way, you find where you're supposed to end up actually. It's like, if you don't know what to do, just do something until you figure it out. If you really need to use social media to attract a mate, and really, what quality of mate are you attracting? Again, we're back to the mating ritual of social media. What are you attracting? You're attracting somebody who spends a lot of time on their devices on social media. Like, are you really attracting a winner here, ladies, gents? Are you really attracting a winner on such a platform? Don't you rather want to be in a winning position in life, in day-to-day life? And then when you encounter somebody, like, you must be on your own mission, and then as you encounter somebody that's also on their own mission, and somehow that alliance can become not just a romantically have a romantic appeal to it, but also have an appeal of, if we share this path of life together, things can go amazing, and that's, like, things can fall into place naturally and romantically, spiritually. Like, then okay, this is the person that I want to be with. But if you're not on the look for that, if you're not looking out for that, then go ahead, complain on social media. Oh, all men are the same. Oh, all women are the same. No, because you're looking for the same people in the same places all the time. If you're looking for different people, in the same place, you're probably going to find the same people. You're not going to find different people. You need to go to different places to find different people. Anyways, I don't know why that even matters to me. But nonetheless, I still believe. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, what would it be? What case would it be if social media isn't used as a mating ritual for people, okay? I think, okay, for businesses, right? Or maybe if you are on track to being an influencer, if that's your goal, then I understand, of course, you want to have content that gets the clicks, content that gets the eyeballs, for sure. For me, okay, my goal, I guess you can call it being an influencer, although I don't want to be able to influence anything. I just want to entertain. To be honest, I want to entertain, and I want to... Oh, that's a bit loud. Let me not be too loud. I want to entertain people. That's always been a thing for me. I think it's also just getting people's approval. Maybe we can talk about that with a psychologist or something. Wouldn't that be fun to actually have a psychologist as a guest? And I know a few. So one day, soon. You see, we've already upgraded a little bit for the show. Now we just need there's an additional upgrade that we can make eventually. And then, I absolutely cannot wait for that. But anyways, so where was I going with this? What was I saying? Oh, yes. So, anyways, so if you're like an influencer and you want to get, use this as an opportunity to promote a business or turn it into a business, which is part of my goal as well, is to turn this podcast into a business, big plans coming ahead. But anyways, so yeah, it's like I want to be able to get to that point. And once again, we're all over the show because we started with people taking pictures of themselves and posting it, or not posting it, putting it on their wallpaper, which is truly a mystery to me. And I don't know, if you do it, in the comments, just tell me why, please. Or if you don't do it, tell me why as well. It's like, I'm interested. I'm just trying to gather data from human beings and trying to figure it out. But I don't want to ask because I don't want to offend. Not offend. I don't want to create negative emotions in other people. You see, it's that approval thing, that need for approval. But anyways, we're not gonna go into some psych evaluation for me. I don't want to do that. But anyways, what's been going on in life for me? On Saturday I went to the Bloom Show. The Bloom Show is this annual, you can call it a festival, but it's this huge event where they have like rides, like roller coasters and Ferris wheels and all kinds of fun, things. Everything that just goes in circles, to be honest. If you look at it, everything goes in a circle. But it's fun nonetheless. So we went there, went on a couple of rides with my sister, with my girlfriend and her sister. It was all really fun. And my brother, of course, that was fun, and some of my friends, or some of my brother, his friends, we were all there together. My dad was there. The first thing we did when we got there, I went on a camel ride with my dad, and that was awesome. Like you really gain a respect or a reverence really for these noble creatures. Obviously they smell and they make a noise. And it's pretty scary, as you go into this animal, everyone else that got on went for the ride, and came back like with a camel ride now. Everybody that gets on this thing goes for the ride and comes back. You know, the animal is chilled, but it had to be that when I'm there with my dad and this thing is going, you know, and I'm like, I don't think we should do this, you know, getting a bit scared, but it was still a thrill. It was still fun. The guy said, "Nah, it's fine, don't worry. He likes this." And like, it doesn't sound like he likes it, you know. And I think he was just trying to make us feel better because, you know, he's selling a product. But anyways, so yeah, I get on there with my dad, and the scariest part is when it gets up, because I think it goes up on its hind legs first. So as soon as it's laying like on its haunches, obviously, not haunches. I don't know. I'm using that word incorrectly because I don't know what haunches are. I just hear people say that. Anyways, so you get on. It's like a saddle for two. So my dad's at the back, I'm in the front, and this thing stands up, and then you immediately go for like, oh, you know, like you have to hold on, otherwise you're gonna fall over this thing or bump heads with a camel. Wouldn't that be something? Just, oh, sorry, Mr. Camel. And the camel's like, it's okay, my friend. You know, or just, you know. Anyways, so yeah, we get up and then we go for the walk, and you realize, wow, these things are really tall. They have long legs and this huge hump, and you sit on top of that hump, so you get a real view of the world. It's like you're almost a story up. Like that's maybe, how much is a story? A story is about 3 meters. So you maybe like that high up in the air. I might be exaggerating actually. I'm very bad at estimating distance and measurements. But anyways, so this camel is walking all chill, and I'm so fixated on this because it's such a cool experience. And a branch just, woof, you know, hits my face. But anyways, the part that I want to get to is like when it comes, like they just take us for a walk and then it comes back. It's literally 5 minutes, 5-minute round trip. When it gets back, then it goes down on its front first. The front legs go down, and it's so quick because it literally just, it drops, and you're like, oh, you know. Yeah, well, that was fun. So that was the first thing we did, camel rides. That was really cool. Oh man, what an experience, you know. And I think, you know, when you're living, it's like the day-to-day routine is stable. It's secure. It's good, right? That's part of good life, is that you have certain experiences that you can count on to repeat themselves, right? That's the routine of life, and that's what makes life stable and safe. But anyways, so you go and you have different experiences, and that's why I wanted to do it. Oh man, it was awesome. It was fantastic. And then after that, we went to the area where they do the rides. Now, one thing I have to say about Bloem Show is almost as if everybody in the whole Bloemfontein was there, because you could not get a clear path to walk. There was just, you're literally swimming through people. They're like, oh, excuse me, sorry, excuse me, you know, and you're just trying to be nice. But in your head, you're not saying excuse me, sorry, you're saying mean words, you know. But anyway, so yeah, you're just walking and trying to get through all the people. But eventually we get to the rides. Had to stand in a queue forever. Must have been half an hour just to get some tokens. The tokens is what you use to access the rides. Okay, finally we went on a couple of rides, and really fun stuff, you know. There was this one ride, it's like it obviously goes in a circle. They all do. Even the roller coasters technically go in circles, but yeah, enough about that. This one goes round, and then it does this, like it goes up like that, and then it goes down again, and it's got these pods that you get into. It's only one. It's a single seater, and it's like it's on a hinge, right? So as soon as that thing starts, and it already starts fast, you're like, oh, like you get in, like it's already start turning, and then you go horizontal, like almost immediately, and it's kind of nerve-wracking, but you get used to it after the first few seconds. Then it starts going faster, and then it starts like going vertical, and you are freaking out because it's so fast. It's so fast, and you're like, and there's like not a good place to hold because I'm short. I had to put my feet just a bit to the outside, like by the, just the entrance of this pod, so that I could not, bounce around in there. But it was incredible. the adrenaline rush that you feel. There was also this other one I went on with my sister, and it's like a swing, like just a nice normal swing, a 2-seater swing, but this thing it swings around and it also goes up. Oh my goodness! And that one, I literally had a headache after that. It was like, that was maybe too much for me. I was freaking out. But yeah, we went on a couple of more rides, and it was really fun. The thing I didn't like was that there were so many people. I'm all for a crowd. I love the idea of being part of a crowd or being in front of a crowd. That's even better. And that's just me seeking approval once again. Really need to figure that out. But anyways, so we go there. I say but anyways a lot, man. I'm going to try not to say it. Let's see. From now on, no more but anyways. I almost just said it now. I'm all for like a lot of people there, but it's just too much. It was too much because it was uncomfortable. If you could smell people's body odor, they're too close. It's just clear as day. But luckily we didn't have any trouble getting food. The food was good. There's a lot of variety with food, so it was excellent. It was quite wonderful. And the best part for me is the reactions of other people on the ride. You can go on the ride with somebody so that you can experience their reactions, whether it's total fear or, pure joy, And I think the one I enjoy the most witnessing is fear. because people are just like, don't look, but you look anyways. Yeah, I said it again. It's very difficult. It's difficult to break, habits like that. But anyway, so yeah, it was really fun to be there at Bloom Show. It's an incredible experience, and I mean, I would love to do it again. Whenever they come into town again, probably next year, late April, early May. That's gonna be fun to do that. And the food was awesome. There was also an art exhibit, and I love art. So I don't know, they showed like the grades, basically the ages of the kids that did these particular works of art, and paintings and sketches and pastel art and knit work and patchwork. Like, it's incredible what people are able to do. It's honestly, man, I have a real appreciation for art. Like, honestly, I think it's incredible what people are able to come up with, Let's see how we're doing on time. Oh, we are running out of time real quick. But anyways, I'd like to get into today's book review. And today's book is Crime and Punishment. Crime and Punishment. This is one of the most profound books I've ever read in my entire life. A lot goes on in here, and it opens your eyes into what a human being is. So I just would like to share the review that was made for this particular book. I just want to give you my review of it. Okay. Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoyevsky. Definitely one of the best authors that have ever lived, to be honest. Like, he's really up there, All of his books are profound works of literature. So if you really want to be blown away in ways that you didn't expect, I would highly recommend this book. It's a work of fiction, of course. But anyways, let's see. Oh, there's it again. Oh my goodness. Is a complex and profound novel that delves into the themes of morality, guilt, redemption, and the human psyche. Here are some key points. Number one, just a plot overview. The story revolves around Rodion Raskolnikov. He's the main character. A former student living in St. Petersburg. He couldn't be a student anymore because he couldn't afford it. St. Petersburg's cost of living is really high. He devises a theory of the extraordinary man who is above morality and believes that such a person has the right to commit crimes for the greater good. Now, there already we are confronted with an idea, because we all have that idea. It's like, but some things you can do because it's in the name of the greater good, no matter how bad it is. That's his, and he envisions that to be the extraordinary man. But the main character is what you are. That's what we are. When you read a book, every time you read a book, you see things from the main character's perspective, and it's basically your perspective. And that's what the beauty of this author is, And basically, he we've all said it, right? When a crime was committed, a terrible crime, like maybe just something terrible that someone does to a child. I don't want to mention the exact thing, just for sensitive viewers out there. Don't want to do that. But anyways, doing something horrible to a child that would traumatize that child for life, right? Such a person, you see that person did a crime, like on the news, someone did that, and you're like, yeah, that's why we need the death penalty, So what you've done is you've already superseded morality itself, because now you're like, some things are so bad that they should be punished with something but just as bad or worse, like ending that person's life, right? So we've all believed in that. There are some things that are just above morality, some people who can be just above morality, which is not right, and that's what the book is all about. Anyways, so Raskolnikov murders a pawnbroker, believing it will free him from poverty and make him a benefactor to society. So he believes he's doing a good thing, because this pawnbroker is a very evil lady. She takes advantage of poor people by giving them money in exchange for valuable goods that they have, right? And he thinks murdering this person will really cause less problems for others. And he's also gonna like rob her, so he'll have money again, because he's in extreme poverty. Like I said, he was a student, but because of finances, he could no longer be a student in St. Petersburg. It's obviously set in Russia. The novel follows Raskolnikov's inner turmoil after having committed this murder, his interactions with other characters, and his eventual moral and psychological breakdown. So eventually things do fall apart for him, even though he's like a strong proponent of this extraordinary man that is beyond the moral obligations that the rest of society is. Anyways, so the second point is about character development. Raskolnikov is a deeply conflicted character who grapples with his conscience after committing the murder. So even though this murder, and even to you as the reader, this murder seems like a good thing, like, oh, of course, kill that person, right? But the guilt and paranoia that he experiences eventually becomes this heavy psychological torment, and eventually leads to self-destructive behavior, because now you believe that you need to be punished, right? There's another character. Her name is Sonia Marmeladov, and she's a young woman forced into prostitution to support her family. She has to take care of an elderly father and a younger sister. And she becomes the symbol of purity and redemption in the novel, offering Raskolnikov a path to spiritual renewal. She's also a very religious person, it's kind of a heavy conflict, but you can see why when you read the book, and that's what the genius of Dostoyevsky is all about. And there's also another one, Porfiry Petrovich. He's a police detective who suspects Raskolnikov's involvement in the crime and engages in psychological games with Raskolnikov, trying to elicit a confession. So he'll speak to Raskolnikov obviously with high suspicions that this guy committed the murder, but dances around the fact the whole time, like pretending like we don't know who it is. Can you please help us figure out? That thing, knowing full well it's like this guy probably did it. It's genius. This whole book is genius. But anyways, so we're just gonna dive into some of the themes, and then I'm gonna let you go. We're gonna end the episode soon. Just a couple of themes. That's our third point. So the one theme is that it's crime and consequence. That's kind of the title, crime and punishment, right? There are consequences to every crime, and those consequences are not necessarily in the sphere of the legal system, but mental, psychological consequences, right? So it says, novel explores the consequences of Raskolnikov's crime, both in terms of legal punishment and internal psychological torment. So even the fact that you've killed someone who was a bad person, and the world is definitely better without this person on it, but because you committed that act, you cannot take it back, and you experience so much guilt and so much trauma just because of what you've done, because he's not a psychopath. A psychopath will do it without any thought. They'll just, I'll kill this person. Of course, I need to kill this person. And he thought maybe he's that person, and then he takes it a step further, he does it, and then he's like, oh my, I'm actually not that person. This was a horrible thing. How could I do this? And then there's also a theme of guilt and redemption. So there's a lot of contrasting themes here. So the idea of guilt and redemption. So Raskolnikov's guilt and his journey toward redemption through confession, and his suffering, and eventually suffering as a result of that. So his guilt and suffering because of what they drove him to confession, and when he eventually confessed to the crime, he immediately, that whole burden was lifted off his shoulders. So it's incredible, the fact of facing the truth is the process of redemption, be it a painful process nonetheless. And then the next one, morality and ethics. So Dostoyevsky examines certain ethical dilemmas and also kind of explores the nature of morality here. Because like for us, we say that person deserves the death penalty. We're literally condemning someone to death. And yet, if you're the one that commits that act, if you're the one who executes that person, then you deal with a whole lot of suffering and guilt and shame for what you've done. And a lot of just inner turmoil. So it's like the author really looks into it like, can you really say that as a moral being to condemn someone to death? Like, are you really willing to take that seriously? Do you think it's really going to be right if you are the one that has to commit that act? And I love that because it includes now personal responsibility. Most of the stuff we say that is really, in its essence, bad, we are free of that responsibility because we don't have to actually execute that person. You might be happy that person died, but if you're the one that did the execution, then you are not going to be okay. So it begs the question, is it then okay to even say that person's life must be ended? It's complicated, and I love it. I love complicated things. Anyway, so he examines this whole idea of morality, especially through the filter of Raskolnikov's idea of the extraordinary man. Because is it truly an extraordinary man who can do that? And the answer to that is no. When you get to the end of it, the extraordinary man is someone who can resist all that. I think and that just makes us human. So if you find yourself at the perfect place and time to maybe end a really bad person's life, you don't do it because you are better than that. Then another contrast, suffering and salvation. Characters like Sonia, that's the lady who's a prostitute who provided some spiritual guidance to Raskolnikov. She represents the redemptive power of suffering and the possibility of salvation through repentance and compassion. So now we're diving into some central Christian themes. Might I add human themes, right? You experience healing through compassion. Not just the compassion of others, but your compassion towards others. You might feel that, I believe that's why a lot of people do charity work. Because it feels good. And it feels good in a deep, deep, deep sense. Doesn't feel good on the surface. It's not pleasure. It's not pleasure. That's this, pleasure is this venereal thing. It's really just on the top layer. It's very superficial. That's pleasure, but this deep, deep pleasure, that's a different thing. That's a different thing. That's something else, And that's the idea of redemption. We are not good people, or rather, we are not good, neither bad. We are both. We're both. That's what we are as human beings, and that's our journey through life. Is as long as we approach things with love, with compassion, with repentance, like, yes, I did wrong and I'm so sorry. That is what makes you feel better. The apology isn't to make that person feel better. The apology makes you feel better. But only if you truly mean it, And then that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So the idea that we all suffer, that's universal. That's a universal thing. We go through suffering. We experience hardship. We experience difficulty. We experience pain. Oh my goodness! Sometimes you're confronted not with your own pain, but with the pain of others, and it has an effect on you where you start suffering. Just as a result of the pain of others. And that's That's compassion right there. But when you help that person, oh my goodness, you feel better, you feel wonderful. And that is the reward that's been built into us, I think. But anyway, so that character, represents that. But anyway, so that's just a couple of the themes. So we also have some symbolism. So in the book, it's very graphic, by the way, like descriptions, very descriptive. So the yellow wallpaper in the pawnbroker's room, which is where the murder took place, by the way, symbolizes the confinement and decay, reflecting Raskolnikov's inner state. So obviously, when the wallpaper turns yellow, that's, a representative of decay, something getting old, something falling apart, and that's just representing his descent. Because what happened was, the point where he got to deciding to murder someone was already the result of a decline in insanity, decline in quality of life, decline in the human experience, And then eventually that caused a further decline. He thought, no, that would be the bounce back, the murder would be the bounce back, and it wasn't. It just facilitated further descent into hell, basically. There's also motive of crossroads and split paths, right? So yeah, a lot of the times there is like, a character finds himself in a position, should I go left or should I go right? Should I go forward? Should I go backwards? And that represents the moral choices and consequences of our actions. Really deep stuff. I love it when authors do that, when they have deeper thoughts, deeper messages, but they do it in the form of a story that helps us understand things. It's incredible. Anyways, there I said it again. The recurring motive of poverty and suffering highlights the social and economic issues of the time and their impact on individuals' lives. And it's not far from where we are today either. Things are difficult. Not necessarily financially or socially or economically, but things are difficult. And our choices, our actions our actions determine what happens to us during that time. So it's so important to really navigate that and to not put ourselves in a position where, because we are suffering, no, we are better than others. It doesn't matter. Everybody suffers. Life is happening to all of us. Whether you're a billionaire or whether you're a homeless person in the street, life is happening to all of us. And finally, our last point is just the philosophical and psychological depth of this novel. Dostoevsky delves into existential questions about the nature of good and evil, free will, and the human condition. So what I love about this book also is that you decide the conclusion as well. Based on the conclusion, you decide what you want to draw from that. And that's also another beautiful thing, is it's open-ended. So you interpret the end, the beginning, the middle. You interpret all of that through your own perspective. And I love that. It's just that this is the book offers, the insight of the complexities of the human psychology. It really does. It really gives you all the options. And you're like, I don't know, if I was in this position, would I do the same thing? If I do, this is what would happen to me, and it goes through a range of different, experiences like guilt and pride and shame and what it really means to find something meaningful in life. And it's incredible, In conclusion, overall, Crime and Punishment is a profound exploration of human nature, morality, and the interplay between crime, guilt, and redemption. It remains a timeless classic that continues to resonate with readers for its deep insights and compelling narrative. Truly compelling work of fiction. And if you are someone who wants to dive deep into these themes that I explored, this is the book, man. There's a lot of other Dostoevsky novels, but this one is definitely one of the good ones. They're all good, actually. Dostoevsky is a genius. Anyways, let's see, how long have we been going on? We're actually over time. Every time we're over time, but you know what? It is what it is. But anyways, I think that's where we can end it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Please go read a book. Go read a book. Tell me what you're reading. Goodness, send me a DM on Instagram or comment there in the in the comments. Comment in the comments. Just let me know in the comments what you think. Another thing, like I said, just in summary, tell me, do you have yourself as a wallpaper? If so, why? I'm not going to judge you. I just want understanding. If so, why? Do you agree that social media and the use of it, especially to present your physical self, is that a form of a mating ritual? Do you believe that? Don't you believe that? If you do, tell me why. If you don't, please tell me why. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd like to get into touch with you as the listener, as the viewer, because then maybe I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. But anyways, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week further. And, be grateful for what you have. Stop focusing on what isn't there, what isn't important, what other people have. That's not your focus. Your focus should just be on what you have. I promise you'll be happy for it. And don't forget to be good to yourself. You probably deserve it.